Well, welcome to our Operations Committee for March 18th. It is 12 noon, and I would like to ask the committee secretary to call the roll, please.
Yes, Chair Corbett. Director Wieskamp.
Aye.
Director Eccles.
Aye.
Director Corbett.
Here.
AGM O'Connor.
Here.
And we do have staff presenters and participants today joining us, as well as our new general manager. And that is Sabrina Landreth. We also have David Kendall, Ruby Toomber, Tiffany Margolici, Steve Castile, Ari Suzuki, Rex Caulfield, Jim Tellerico, Renee Patterson, Lance Breed, and that is it for now.
Great. Thank you very much, Denise, and welcome to everybody, all our wonderful staff. And we can go to the first item, but I thought I would stop for a moment at our new general manager. This is her first operations committee. If she'd like to say a few words, we'd love to welcome you.
Thank you, Director Corbett. I am the newbie here and just plan on being a fly or something on the wall. And I've not been able to join a committee meeting yet. So I'm looking forward to this. And I don't know if this is something that I would come to every time or expected to come to every time. I have no idea. So I'm coming totally fresh and looking forward to what you all discuss.
Well, you're always welcome. And I'm sure the AGM of operations would like to comment on that as well.
I just want to echo Chair Corbett's comments. GM Landreth, you're always welcome to come. We are the committee of fun. We have fun here. We do a lot of interesting things and talk about things. We have a lot of business, mostly around our business services group, lease renewals, concession renewals, etc. And then we do review different aspects of operations. So we'll bring in each of our work groups and have a presentation on projects they're doing, programs they're running, and sometimes we do summaries of programs at the end of the year. So we do just sort of an overview of what's happening in operations in the field. Overall, different presentation. It gives staff a chance to give a presentation and get some public speaking time. So that's what we do here, and you're always welcome. And if there's something on the agenda that I think might be of interest, I will give you a heads up.
Sounds good.
Thank you. And I know board members love to be on this committee because you really get to be in the know of everything that's happening in the district, and especially over this last year with the pandemic, really to see the dedication of all of our staff and keeping things going, even though, the ball was always moving, right? There was changes that open this, close that, tape off the picnic table. So we really got a chance to see the dedication of our workers in dealing with all the challenges. And it really is a great place to see sort of all the behind the scenes that really make the district go. So we love being on this committee. So thank you for being here. All right, so our first item is review of the Deer Valley Brody Ranch Crown Castle T-Mobile amendment at Deer Valley Regional Park. And I believe Tiffany Margolici is going to be giving that report today.
Hello, thank you, Chair Corbett and Board Operations Committee and everyone. Good afternoon. I will be sharing my screen for this next item. One moment. And can everyone see the screen? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay, so thank you, everybody. So this is the Deer Valley Regional Park Communication Site presentation, and this is on the former Roddy Ranch Golf Course. And here's some pictures, of course, of beautiful real trees up at top, and then we do have the communication site below, which is the style of the fake tree. So with me today, I have several guests from Crown Castle, who is the site manager for this site, Ted Uncle, Annie Paulin, David Warren, also from the East Contra Costa County Habitat Conservancy, Joanne Chu, and Park Supervisor Rex Caulfield, as well as Business Services Administrative Analyst Renee Patterson, who is very knowledgeable on the comm sites and helped prepare this item. So for the presentation today, I'll give a brief overview of the communication site policy that we have here at the district, where this site is located, and the purpose of this item is for a generator expansion. So to expand the site to accommodate a generator, we'll talk about that location and the requirements, and then conclude with our recommendation. So briefly, as an overview, to put this into context, we have 17 communication sites here throughout the Park District, 24 different lease agreements. We have one site that is owned by the East Bay Regional Park District. We have one public entity site, which is the Air Quality Management District, and then 15 private entity sites. And they are all our activities related to these sites are governed by the communication site policy, which was last updated in 1994. Typically, these sites are part of land acquisition. So we are, part of our policy is that we don't actively seek these sites, but we often inherit them as part of a land acquisition. And our practice is that we will honor the pre-existing lease terms. And then at the time of the renewal or expiration of that lease, we then bring that lease up to the current market rate and district standards, or in some cases, we may evaluate whether we would continue this lease or discontinue the use. So I did want to touch briefly on the public benefits of having these leases. We certainly use cellular technology and all kinds of technology for communication. This is one of our building grounds aids in the rental facilities using a cell phone. We use it every day. Of course, it's become critical piece of equipment in our life. Also, it is a revenue stream, nearly $1 million a year from comm site lease revenue. And it is one of the only lease sources that was not impacted by COVID because they were able to continue operations. This shows where the lease is located. This is the former Roddy Ranch parcel. Down here in this corner is where the communication site is located. And then this shows a close-up. Actually, I think, can you see my cursor now? You over here. And then this is the aerial view of the site. The existing site is 225 square feet, and it's a 20-foot monopole or tree. And it's a T-Mobile site with the infrastructure manager is Crown Castle. And that's very typical of our sites, is there's usually the wireless carrier and then an operator that operates the site. So the proposed expansion, T-Mobile and Crown Castle approached the Park District staff and asked to increase the footprint of their site by an additional 89.61 square feet. So just under 90 square feet additional, and that would bring the total site to 315 square feet. I put some pictures here of the recent fires in 2020 on our own properties here at Sonola Loney and this one at Round Valley, to just highlight that this initiative to expand the site is part of the California Public Utilities wireless provider resiliency strategies, which is to have backup power. I think it's 72 hours of backup power at every wireless site in case of emergencies, as well as planned power outages, which we all know are becoming part of our new normal. This shows the site. So this is the square part here is the actual site of 225 square feet. This is where the expansion area would be to accommodate the generator. This has been reviewed as part of the Roddy Ranch golf course planning process. So it was looked at by our design staff, by our planning staff, by HCP staff. We think this is an appropriate location for the expansion. One area that was very important to staff is that all vehicle access is along one side, so that trucks are only accessing the site from one side. And T-Mobile and Crown Castle did agree with that. And so the access is along here. These other accesses are for pedestrian maintenance. So we will recommend increasing the rent in accordance with the current price per square foot. So we have a current monthly rent of $1,300. We would increase it based on the price per square foot, just about over $500 a month, bringing us to our new monthly total. We would have certain restrictions and requirements. For example, the T-Mobile will need to obtain a East Contra Costa County Habitat Conservancy permit, a take permit for the expansion. And then we also have our standard contractor requirements. So that's the overview of the item. And so our recommendation based on this review is to go ahead and approve this expansion for an additional 89.61 square feet and have a revenue increase of about over $500 a month for a new total of $1,818 a month.
Any questions from the board?
Seems reasonable.
Director Eccles?
Yeah, thank you. I guess you read my face. Thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, it sounds reasonable. I'm just interested to know, so if we did not approve this and they weren't able to have this extra land, how would that impact their operations?
So I can have one of the representatives from Crown Castle speak to that. They did share with me that they're are asked to be in compliance by mid-July 2021. So they are under a time pressure to bring this site under compliance. And with that, either Ted Uncle or one of your team, would you like to speak further to what would happen if you were not able to install this generator?
Yeah, thank you, Tiffany. I'm going to defer to Annie. She's the real estate specialist on this. But you're right, July 20th, 2021 by the CPUC is the requiring generators to be in place for emergency situations. But I'll defer to Annie as an answer on this.
That's correct, Ted. Thank you, Tiffany and Ted. Yes, so they are required by the regulation to ensure public safety during emergency situation, and they are to have the generators at the sites by July 2021. And if the backup generator was not allowed by the landlord for T-Mobile, then T-Mobile would not be in compliance with this regulation.
Thank you.
I have a question about the generator. I know we are talking specifically about renewing the lease and extending the space for the generator. Mm-hmm. Is there any guidance given on how let me back up and ask a different question. So currently, is the space powered off the grid? And then the generator is there for a failure on the grid. Is that correct? Are there any other guidelines that provide for opportunities for solar power or anything like that?
Not that I know of. Not that I'm aware of, but I can find out.
Okay.
About that.
That would be good to know, especially since there's going to be a generator there, which would be very helpful. Okay, and then who pays for the power? The operator?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, very good.
The carrier, the operator, yes.
The carrier does. Okay, thank you very much. Those are my questions. All right. Oh, and my next question, when is this lease up for renewal again? And how does this fit with other examples in the marketplace for this type of lease? I asked that question.
Yes. So I think Rex and I were just speaking prior to the meeting. I think it's about another 19 or 20 years on this lease. I think that, I don't know if anyone has the memo in front of them, but it does state in the memo. So we have quite a ways to go on this lease. Rex, the Caulfield Park supervisor and I were saying that at the time it's up, it may be time to evaluate with the park most likely being open at that time. it might be a time to reevaluate even having the site there. Certainly where it falls now is on the lower end of the market range.
And this is a lease that we took over as a result of acquiring the park, right? The lease.
Absolutely, yes. Just like many of the sites, as I mentioned, this was pre-existing. This is a lease that was negotiated with the prior owner. And so our practice has been to honor those pre-existing lease terms. And then when it is up for renewal, we will realign it with current market.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Mr. O'Connor, AGM O'Connor.
Just in answer to your question, this lease has an additional five-year term renewals, and that's through 2033.
Okie dokie then. We won't be asking any questions about that for a while. All right, thank you very much for the information. All right, any additional questions? Anybody else have anything else they'd like to add? Yes, Director Eccles.
Yeah, I just realized, it occurred to me, I don't have any more questions, but I think I'm going to just abstain from the vote because it is a California Public Utilities Commission order. And since I'm somewhat connected to the commission, just in an abundance of caution, I'm going to abstain, so.
Okay, thank you very much for letting us know that. All right, if there's no other questions or
I'll make the motion then, because I do think it makes sense, and let's be in compliance. I think some other states have had all kinds of problems because of not thinking ahead, and I think that's what they want us to do. And therefore, I support the motion.
Yeah, it is very, very important to have the emergency backup for such an important utility that we all rely on every moment of the day.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. With that, I will second the motion. Please call the roll on the vote.
Director Wieskamp,
Aye.
Director Corbett,
Aye.
and with Director Eccles abstaining.
Okay, so 2 ayes and an abstention. The measure passes as a recommendation to the full board. Thank you. Yes, AGM O'Connor.
Madam Chair, can we have the recording secretary remind members of the public that may be listening ways that they can provide public comment?
Oh, yes, please. If the secretary could inform the public how they can make comment in case anybody would like to make comment on this item.
Yes, Chair Corbett. So members of the public wishing to comment can send an email to boardopscommittee@ebparks.org. May leave a voicemail by dialing 510-544-2500, or can join the meeting by clicking on the Zoom link provided in the meeting agenda posted on the district website.
And is there anyone listening in? I know that the committee secretary let us know in advance that we did not have anybody who had called in advance for public comments. But is there anyone here in the meeting that would like to make comment on this item or any of the other items on the agenda today? If you do, please let us know. Do you see anybody, Denise?
I do not see anyone at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Thank you, AGM O'Connor, for reminding us of making sure we're fully transparent. Thank you. All right, so our next item is an update on park operations at the Delta unit. AGM O'Connor, would you like to introduce it?
Sure. As you know, we like to bring in our park supervisors every once in a while and our unit managers to give an update on what's happening in the individual units, since we don't get a chance to get out there often. And I think we have Dave Kendall is going to join us and give an update on the Delta unit.
Yes. Welcome,
Dave, are you here?
Dave.
Hi, everybody. My video has been stopped, apparently. I'm not quite sure what happened with that. Is it best that I log? Oh, wait, here we go.
There he is.
We go. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Director Corbett. AGM O'Connor, thank you for the introduction. I appreciate that. Let me share my screen here. this is there we go. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Oops. Too far. Okay. Hello, members of the board, fellow staff, and guests. My name is David Kendall. I am a park supervisor, and I'm here to present an overview of the Delta unit in park operations. Today, I'm going to give a brief update on the following items within the Delta unit: the Bay Point Shoreline Restoration Project, the Lafayette Moraga Trail, Crockett Hills Regional Park, and Concord Hills Regional Park. The Delta unit encompasses large parts of central and eastern Contra Costa County. Our parks are Antioch Oakley Shoreline, Bay Point Shoreline, Big Break Shoreline, Briones, Carquinez Strait Regional Shoreline, Concord Hills, Contra Costa Trails, Crockett Hills. We have the Delta unit, the Delta access properties, then East County Trails, the Ted and Kathy Radke Martinez Shoreline, and lastly, we have Waterbird Preserve. On November 20th, 2020, was the grand reopening of the Bay Point Regional Shoreline. Pictured here is our former general manager, several members of our board, and a member of the City of Pittsburgh City Council. This $5.7 million project was a great example of a collaborative effort to revitalize a park area to enhance public access while increasing tidal habitat for many of the species in the Delta region. These public access and habitat improvements are expected to withstand 2080 sea level rise. This 14-month project added new ADA restrooms, drinking fountains, an ADA ADA accessibility to the Harrier Trail, and a kayak launch, which is pictured here. These are what these current ADA improvements are looking like today. And then these are the habitats that have been restored. You'll see in the picture on the right, on the left, the ADA Harrier, the Harrier Trail in the background there that is currently now ADA accessible. Next, we move to the Lafayette area of the unit, to the Lafayette Moraga Trail. But first, a little history. This is one of the areas, let's see. This is a photo of the Sacramento Northern Rail Line in June of 1940, where it crosses the Los Trompas Creek. This rail corridor would later become the first regional trail in the Park District, as it was dedicated on July 25th, 1976. This July will mark this trail's 45th anniversary. Pictured here is one of the original glue lamp style pedestrian bridges on this trail. As you can see in the photo, it is slightly leaning to the right and nearing the end of its lifespan. This is the same creek crossing as the train photo before. Replacement of this bridge took place in mid-June to the beginning of August in 2019. This bridge was originally going to be part of the Board of Directors tour in 2020, but that tour had to be canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Oops, I'm a little farther than I wanted to be. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Sorry about that. This picture also shows the bridge pieces in construction, and it shows the two cranes that were required to lift these two pieces both together and in place on the trail. Using these two cranes in sync made this a very complicated project. Here's what it looks like today. And we have seen numerous compliments on the new bridge as it is wider than the original, and it gives a better view of the creek corridor. This is also roughly the same vantage point as the train photo at the beginning, and is in the same current rail alignment as that rail line before. As we move southwest on the trail towards Moraga, we come to an area that was heavily damaged by storms. In In January of 2016, heavy storms created numerous issues throughout Northern California. On January 21st, during routine patrols, the Contra Costa Trail staff discovered a small landslide below the trail and into the Moraga Creek. With notification and coordination, this trail segment between Canyon Road and Moraga Country Club was closed, and the slide was covered, as you can see in the picture on the right. Additional large storms in January of 2017 created a much larger slide. Here is a current photo that shows the extent of the damage, of the additional damage, and just how much of the hillside has been affected. Due to property damage to the condominiums above, that are sitting above the trail, it has taken several years to be able to begin remediation of this slide. Currently, we are looking forward to construction repairs to begin this spring. We expect stabilization efforts to be completed by October of 2022. And we are expecting that in November of 2022, the district can make final improvements to this trail segment and reopen it to the public. As the Lafayette Moraga Trail is one of the oldest trails in the district, some of the newest trails in the Delta unit are at Crockett Hills Regional Park. In 2009, Crockett Hills was the first park in the district to build bike optimized trails. We added additional trails in 2015. There are now 8.5 miles of these single track bike optimized trails in this park. These trails were opened with much fanfare from the mountain bike community, and they were a big hit. However, the aforementioned storms caused a great deal of damage to these trails due to cattle. While working with the Bicycle Trails Council of the East Bay and our own Trails Development Department, we worked out a plan to hold 2 annual trail work days per year. And then we set up some hand tool cabinets to enable individuals working in small stints as opportunities allowed. The work that they did focused on repairing cattle damage, installing drains in areas that remained damp, and completing trail hardening projects. Our most recent workday was early March of 2020. We had 58 volunteers who completed 184 hours of trail work. Due to COVID, no additional large-scale trail events have been held. However, many of these same club members have continued to work by themselves in small stints. This past year, we have had over 67 different volunteers, and they have donated almost 350 hours of additional trail work for a total of 530 volunteer hours in 2020. The park has seen a very positive return on our partnership with the Bicycle Trails Council of the East Bay. Accidents are down and park attendance is up. Another benefit from our partnership with them has been freeing up of staff. We have been able to free staff up to complete large-scale mowing projects, which has made the park significantly more enjoyable in the spring. As I come to a close, the newest park added to the Delta unit is the Concord Hills Regional Park. This parkland was the former home of the Concord Naval Weapons Station. Concord Hills name is just a placeholder while the district goes through an official naming process with the community's input. A land use plan was adopted in June of 2020. Based on current park designs, here's a mock-up of what the future park might look like. The park will be just over 2,500 acres when it is built out, and we anticipate that it will take the next 10 to 20 years to complete. This is a photo of the future Joint Visitors Center that will be shared by both East Bay Regional Park and the National Park Service. East Bay Regional Park will be interpreting the Native people's history as well as the weapon station history. The National Park Service will interpret the Port Chicago disaster as well as other wartime history. This is a current view of the grasslands of the abandoned rail lines. As we look to the future, there are over 17 miles of abandoned rail lines, with the possibilities of developing these into trail systems. We are looking forward to working with the National Park Service, as well as other federal and local agencies, for grant opportunities to build the park for the public's enjoyment. And that concludes our tour. Any questions?
Thank you very much, David. Excellent presentation. You're going to be very busy out there in the Delta unit over the next few years, if you're not busy enough already.
Yes, we are.
And thank you for sharing with us all those great improvements and the participation by volunteers and what we're looking to in the future for some of these amazing parks that we continue to develop. So thank you for that. Any questions or comments from the committee members? Director Wieskamp?
You know, it reminds us all of all the variety of trails, incredibly different from ones that have existed for a very long time and been changed, those that have been subjected to erosion, and just the opportunities at Concord, which I think are, I mean, all those tracks out there. Lots of people with lots of energy are going to have a great time in all those trails. So thank you very much. It was not, you were using one of those new pieces of equipment to mow with too.
Yes, we were.
That looks very good.
Yeah, very much enjoy that piece of equipment.
I can see where you would. But anyway, thank you for the great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Wieskamp. Director Eccles, do you have any comments?
Nothing in particular other than to say that this is a wonderful presentation, and it's always so much fun to see all of the good work that's going on in the park. So thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you very much. And the last thing I would say before I turn it over to AGM O'Connor is that the bridge is also quite impressive. And I remember all of the work and the design that went into leading up to that. And it does look great. And I know a lot of thought and care went into making sure that it was built in a way that it'll last us for a good long time with a lot of traffic on it as well. So thank you for that. It looks really good. And we're looking forward to a field trip one of these days. And we did, of course, very much enjoy the opening at Bay Point too, which is such a beautiful new park. Really, really nice spot. Beautiful place. David, is there anything else you want to share with us? Just, personally about how you're doing out there in the Delta, and anything else, your favorite stories of what's going on out that way?
Oh, I don't think so. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to work here, and I very much enjoy it. We're all gearing up for spring, which is now here. As I'm listening to the rain outside, though, I'm grateful that it is currently raining. Should be an interesting year, and we're excited to see what this year holds. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate all your hard work and all of your team members' work as well. So thank you. AGM O'Connor.
So just a couple of comments. One is thank you, Dave. Great presentation. I had a chance I was asked to attend a coaches meeting with the local mountain bike racing team here out of Danville. And they had nothing but incredible compliments about the trails over at Crockett Hills. Really enjoyed that. And the other thing I would say too is that, I've both hiked and have ridden the trails out of Crockett Hills. And I would encourage anybody who does hike also. They're great hiking trails. They're great grades, great views. So just want to pass that on, that the mountain bike community is very happy with the trails at Crockett Hills. Just wanted to make sure we knew that. And I agree with you, Director Corbett, the new bridge is great. I had a chance on my road bike to get out there a few weeks ago, and it is so much nicer than that very narrow old bridge used to be. Because you always, on a bicycle, you're always trying to time it so you didn't cross people coming at you on the other direction. So very, very nice amenity. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you very much. Well, there aren't any other comments. That's an information item. And again, David, thank you for joining us today. we look forward to seeing you out there in the Delta unit. Thank you. All right. Our next item is a review of the district-wide point of sale technology in our parks. And I'm definitely looking forward to this presentation by Tiffany Margolisi.
Good.
Just
Oh,
really
AGM
quickly,
O'Connor, pardon me.
just really quickly, I just want to remind Director Corbett, this presentation is at your request. You had asked us to give you an update on what was happening in technology out in the parks. And so here you are. I'll pass it off to Tiffany.
I do appreciate it.
All right, wonderful. Good afternoon again. I'm going to share my screen. One moment. There we go. And can everyone see that?
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, since we're almost at the first day of spring, even though this is a technology presentation, we're including some beautiful nature pictures. So yes, and then with me today to answer questions is Ari Glan-Suzuki, Acting Reservation Supervisor. In her non-acting role, she's the Reservation Support Technician. She's worked for many years on many of these initiatives that I'm about to present, and also Jim Challarico, our Chief Information Officer, is with us today as well.
Welcome to Ari and Jim as well.
Yes. So for the highlights today, Chair Corbett, you had mentioned point of sale specifically as an update you wanted to get. Also, the committee had mentioned any updates on COVID-19 technology innovations, and we'll highlight some of those. And then also we wanted to highlight the Valle Microwave project, as well as the Dumbarton Quarry Campground public Wi-Fi pilot that's coming up. So first of all, just focusing on point of sale. Point of sale is very simply every point where we collect cash or credit card anywhere in the park district. So back in 2008, when I was reservation supervisor, we started converting sites from using the daily revenue report, which is a outdated or somewhat aging technology access database, to a point of sale system. And this project was, since the beginning and all throughout, has been a collaboration between finance and information services and operations. And also public affairs was involved in the pilot program out of their interest in wanting, our shared interest in wanting more data on what time of use people are using parks and what type of use we're getting. So the goals of the project were to increase our financial transparency and accuracy. The point of sale is much more accurate than a cash register or a cash box. We just get a lot better data from it at the transaction level rather than lump sum information. And as I mentioned earlier, that DRR software was ready to phase out already back in 2008. So again, just highlighting the team effort here between information services, who is working to establish the connectivity to sites, testing and configuring the hardware, setting up the hardware, and then working on the hardware issues. So anything that's the physical devices, the credit card readers, the computers. Park operations and MAST have a huge role in terms of establishing the workstation, getting the kiosk set up, and of course, most important is staffing it, actually running the stations. And then business services, primarily reservations, is doing the conversion. So talking to sites about their business need, getting the equipment for them, getting their screens laid out, and troubleshooting a lot of the software issues. It's the same software that we use for our reservation system, which is called ActiveNet. So just some overall terminology as I talk about this project. We'll talk about point of sale sites, that's equals to a park. And then within a park or within a site, there might be a lot of stations. So what it could be a visitor center, a parking kiosk, a swim kiosk, a campground, and depending on the site, we may have several of those types of point of sale stations. And then again, as I mentioned, we use the ActiveNet software. So another theme throughout this project since 2008, besides teamwork, is these some of our challenges that we have. We are in a wide variety of locations with a wide range of connectivity or lack thereof. So some of the project challenges have been getting power, getting connectivity, meaning the internet connectivity, and then just having the physical space, because the point of sale equipment does take up more room than, say, a little cash box. So we've been working through those. We have also come up with a plan. In some cases, it's still been insurmountable to get connectivity to certain sites. So at those locations, we have what we call the Plan B for point of sale. And until those big site barriers are resolved, like electricity or connectivity, we are keeping the end of day process the same, but we're changing the software from the DRR to the ActiveNet. And so what it is, it's a lump sum by the type of transaction at the end of the day, how much parking, how much dog fees, etc. So this Plan B is partially meeting the project goals, but I like to say some is better than none. So we've been trying to get improvements where we can based on what's available. So here is an overview of all the sites that have been converted to point of sale since 2008. And this has been a huge undertaking. They're all here. I'm not obviously going to read them, but I just wanted to have that impact to show how many locations we've worked on. The little yellow asterisks show the Plan B sites. So that's where they are doing the lump sum end of day process instead of the full point of sale. And then we even have one site that's a combination. I think at Point Pinole, we have one station that's the full and one that's on Plan B, because different parts of the park have different connectivity. These are the remaining sites to go. So over on the left is the remaining DRR sites. That's the old software. So we have just these, I think it's 5 now, just 5 last sites to go. Del Val is ready to go any day, hopefully. We're just doing some final, actually Jim Talarico's crew is doing some final troubleshooting to get everything to work, but staff has been trained. We have their screen set up. Ari's done a wonderful job working with Del Val staff. So any day, Del Val will come off of the not done list. And then as any good project that's popular, it's a project that keeps on giving. So we get new requests to add sites. So Dumbarton Quarry Campground is on the, we'll go directly to this new system. And then MAST, Maintenance and Skilled Trades, will be setting up park access permits, which is the new encroachment permit name, getting them on point of sale. And we have several internal departments, including public affairs and public safety, that also use this system to transact their permit fees. So here's the big summary in terms of numbers, and showing just year by year how we've been able to add to the list. So over here on the left, it's the complete number of sites. We're now up to 27. And this is how it's been added year by year. And you can see, especially in 2018, this was a big push. They did 6 sites that year. And then 2020, we put it on pause, just we had a lot of other things going on in 2020. Over here on the right is the summary. So we have 20 full implementation, 5 of the Plan B, 2 of the combo, 2 sites that have combinations, and then 7 that are still incomplete. So we're at about 79% completion. Then down here, we're kind of as a forecast of what we're looking at. In 2021, we plan on doing 4 conversions, and in addition, taking one of the Plan B sites now to full implementation. So Kennedy Grove, whenever we got them converted, they didn't have the connectivity that we needed. Now they do, so we'll get them over to the full system. And we anticipate continuing that whole process as we can. So from there, I will pivot a little bit to segue into safety in kiosks and in terms of COVID-19. And there's just a couple pictures of how we've adapted so far. This is the Anthony Chabot kiosk. Staff has been really innovative and crafty and working around. So this is a plexiglass shield that's been installed. This is a little window down at the bottom. These are our existing credit card readers. They're not considered the contactless ones, but we just got extension cords so that we can put them out through the window and we have people self-serve themselves. To eliminate touch points. We are coming soon, we'll be able to accommodate Google Pay and Apple Pay and have true contactless readers. We're waiting to place that order as soon as our vendor makes those available to us that are compatible with ActiveNet. Here's another picture of the Coyote Hills kiosk, just a little highlight of one of the park craft specialists, T. Medina. He did this really innovative speaker system using a clamp and an N95 mask. So I just like to highlight the fact that staff have been really great at customizing their spaces to make them safe. And he has a whole design he developed on how to do that. And one of a lot of challenges staff has been saying is in the kiosk, they can't hear people with the plexiglass. So apparently this speaker system or speaker vent, I guess, has been really helpful. And I've also seen staff using a basket on a stick. They got a basket on a stick to put the cash in or the credit card in. So we're really making it work. In terms of innovations for COVID-19 and things we've been doing online, we are doing pre-registration for the Tilden Bot Garden, Tilden Little Farm, and Ardenwood. These are extremely popular. Especially well, they really all are. Ardenwood is filled at about 99% to 100% every single day since mid-February. And Tilden Little Farm is often selling out within minutes of the daily release at 10 o'clock. People go online at 10 o'clock when the dates are, the next slots are released, and they're often sold out instantly. So a lot of popularity, and we're very glad we're able to offer these options. We did also do a pilot of selling the boat and quagga fees online in the fall prior to the kiosks resuming fee collection. And we had some success and some challenges with that. So we've put that on pause for now, but we do plan on taking the lessons learned from that and seeing if we could bring that back maybe later this year to bring that back as another option for customers. So with that, I'm gonna then pivot to the Valle Microwave project. Don't ask me to explain this, but that's why Jim Tallarico's here. But we just wanted to say this is a very complex site. The site supports SCADA, which is the water treatment plant and lift station communications, the visitor center, the lifeguard station, and park operations. I'll talk a little bit more and then pause if we'd like Jim to speak to this further, but this is just to show all the internal to the park connections that need to happen for communication.
Wow.
So the Valle Microwave project has been a 2-year planning effort, and it was really a collaboration between information services and maintenance and skilled trades. They raised the height of the towers that you see here and updated all the radios. And so the benefits to this are improved internal communications. And then coming soon, there will be Wi-Fi near the campground kiosk for emergency use. So we have a lot of challenges at Del Valle with people taking a zip car or needing a Lyft or Uber, needing to call people, and there's no connectivity anywhere in the park. So this is not intended to be a full Wi-Fi rollout like I'm about to show you for Dumbarton, but it will be really important for communication and emergencies. So people can go over and stand next to the kiosk and get the Wi-Fi connection and take care of their business and then go on their way. So additional improvements, significant additional improvements would be needed to do the full-on public Wi-Fi like I'm about to talk about. Here is the Dumbarton Quarry Campground Wi-Fi. Yes, go ahead.
Sure.
Was there a question?
No, I'm just pleased to see it.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Director Wieskamp always gets excited when she sees
When
progress
I see it,
at
it
Dumbarton
becomes
Quarry.
So
Campground.
good.
a concrete project, even talking about Wi-Fi. Wow.
Good. Good. Yes, it is
We're getting
exciting.
closer.
Yeah. So this, again, not to really, I mean, Jim could explain it more if you needed, but this is just to show all the little yellow diamonds that are highlighted is every single Wi-Fi access pole that has to be constructed in order to make this work for the campground. And these are the poles here. And if you look towards the background, you can see it goes off in the distance. It's a whole row of those poles. So this is really incredible to have this infrastructure built in as part of the construction of the campground. The fee to use the Wi-Fi is included in the nightly reservation, and campers will get an access code and be able to do their Wi-Fi. Here is just another picture of the poles that are in place. This little white item up here, that's the connector or the antenna that will go on top of each of the poles. So there'll be one of those on the top. There will be two separate drops, it's called, for public and staff fiber connections, and then a firewall between them. So there will not be commingling between the public Wi-Fi and the staff connection. We are considering looking at a 24/7 third-party support for outages. And we just really look forward to seeing how this new program is going to go. Here's just one last look at it. This shows the entire campground. So the little green icons here are the access points, and the yellow is the data cable. And this just shows the real complexity of getting something like this in, and such a unique opportunity. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and then maybe turn it over to Jim Tallarico for a moment if you'd like anything, if you'd like to add anything or of course correct anything that I may have said.
Thank you very much for that great report. And Jim, do you have a few comments you'd like to make?
Well, yeah, I do want to comment about Del Val. It was 20 years ago that we first put a microwave into the park site, and it was our most difficult site that we ever had to deal with. Historically, we had a copper cable running all the way down Mines Road originally to feed the park. And over the last couple of years, we were able to bring fiber into a rooftop of a business in downtown Livermore, and then shoot microwave over into a private tower on the left-hand side of the gate entrance, which gave us our first real access into the park to improve the services there. So the original antennas were mounted on wooden poles. And then a couple of years ago, I embarked on a project to replace the poles with towers, because our vendor wanted to get them up higher in the sky to improve the service. And I had to go through the state of California to get approval. So the project took much longer, and then, we were hit by the fires and also the flooding as well during the project. So it really set us back. But we just, in the last week, got the interpretive center up online, the new one. So I'm really pleased about that. And then once the new sewer lift station gets power, that'll be the last piece for that park, and we'll be done with that project. And then also Dumbarton Quarry. I've never been involved in a project of that size, so that's like a new adventure for us in the IT department. And we're going to start laying fiber cable into the park next week.
Congratulations. What a great evolution and history that you shared with the Park District too, to see the changes over time with the technology and the demand for technology as well. So thank you for all of that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Looking good. I think people will be very happy. And I know particularly the people who would like to get their Uber back out of Del Val are going to be very happy.
Yeah,
Them in
we
particular.
still don't have the antenna in at the kiosk, but they're on back order right now, so we're just waiting for them to ship. So
Okay, then that will be really great. Thank you very much, Jim.
you're welcome.
And Ari, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Good afternoon, Board of Directors. I don't have anything to add. It's just been a challenge during COVID to try to get everything done remotely, especially the training where instead of having everybody in a classroom, everybody had to log in from a different location so they could all be on and trained at the same time. But staff have been really, really cooperating and really helping to make sure that they're up to date. So that's been a really big boost to the program.
Thank you, Ari. All the extra efforts can be seen and are showing. So thank you. There's a lot of forward movement. So I think we're all very encouraged by all the work that's being done, even with the challenges. So thank you. All right. Any other comments or questions from the board members? Director Eccles.
Yeah, well, I would like to acknowledge all of the really great work you all have done, particularly during this time, during the pandemic. I know to Ari's point, how challenging that is. So really a huge, huge shout out. And, you know, as much as it's nice to be off the grid, you know, having the Wi-Fi it's really important for safety reasons. And as you say, for accessibility as well, because folks come out and then, I mean, I see people, you know, struggling in Tilden all the time, not being able to get where they need to get, or other parks as well. But actually, speaking of Tilden, I did also want to thank you for the reservation system. I logged on the other day to choose a date, which actually is still it's still more than 2 weeks out. So I haven't chosen it yet, but I was surprised and pleased how user friendly that interface was, because I've been using a lot of these online sign up things recently, and this was very easy to use, and I like that they give you a tip that to log on and be ready for when your time comes up 2 weeks out. So I'm ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Wieskamp, I bet you want to say something about what am I saying?
I will get there.
Your campground.
Yeah, sure. Well, Ellen, first of all, thanks for requesting this. It was fascinating, and what a tenacious group of employees we have. Jim, how long have you trying to make this happen at Del Val? I've been out there and seen the frustration of staff and people, and they don't realize that they're in the country and that they were so cut off. So hearing about all the different techniques of trying to make it happen over the years is very impressive. And Ari, I thank you for reaching out and helping staff learn how to use this while still being safe for everybody. And of course, Dumbarton Quarry. One thing about it being delayed, it is going to be state of the art once we open it up. And so people are going to be enthusiastic about being there. And I applaud everybody working to make it happen. I'm going to say this year, right, Jim? Jim, I'm looking at you.
Yes, Director Wieskamp, it's going to happen.
Anyway, it's terrific, and I love the ingenious way staff stayed safe in their little kiosks. I mean, from masks to baskets out on a stick, whatever it took to make it happen. Very, very impressive, as always. So thank you all so much.
Yeah. We thank you very much, Director Wieskamp. And we also so appreciate the innovation on behalf of the public as well, especially during COVID-19 with, everything that's been done for no touch to the plexiglass shields, all those little bits and pieces. My favorite was the N95 mask.
Yeah, that was very good.
That was pretty good. Can we win an award for that, Jim? No, just kidding.
Creativity.
We should.
But I do have to say, thank you again for all the extra efforts to keep people safe and, bring more and more technology to the park district, especially in areas that are that are challenging because they are so beautiful and isolated. But, you know, like everybody says, everybody expects to be able to get on their cell phone no matter where they are these days. So it's looking good. Thank you very much, Tiffany. A great report.
Absolutely.
Yes, AGM O'Connor.
Just the whole Dumbarton internet access, that was an interesting process that we went through internally. I call it a small civil war, because you have the old school folks who are like, well, people come camping, they don't need this technology, you know? And then on the other side were people like, well, if you don't have the technology, they won't come. And so we had this, you know, this is a long-standing kind of debate within park professional circles, you know, and I think this is really interesting. I'm really excited to see how it works. I think that when people come to parks, they'll still enjoy parks. And I think this is going to be really interesting that to see how this works. And we're excited about it, getting it open.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
In my mind, what was going through it when I saw the poles that will hold the antennas as to whether those poles will become as popular as the spirit pole on the top of fishing. We'll have people taking their photos.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh, don't have them finding it, please.
Well, you never know.
Let's hope
We'll
not.
spray them with the
All right, thank you very much. Any other, yes, thank you, Tiffany. Any other comments or questions on this item?
Great.
Okay, that's the last item on the agenda. But of course, let's pause for public comments if there's any public comments. Anybody with us who'd like to speak to us?
Hi, directors. We did not receive any public comments ahead of time, but I do have Mr. Kelly Abreu from the Mission Peak Conservancy here. I just let him in.
Oh,
Can you hear us?
yes, I can.
Awesome.
Hello, Kelly.
I will
Hi.
give 3 minutes. I'm starting the clock now.
Good. First off, I think it's very important to realize the kind of messages that the Park District is putting out, the importance of image, of public relation, projecting the right message and communicating it to the public. For the Dumbarton Campground, I looked at the Livermore Independent newspaper. In 2015, 60 people attended the groundbreaking, and those 60 people were told that it would open in 2017. That was 4 years ago. When you go to Vargas Plateau, there's a lot of messaging going on. You see pictures. They actually put up new pictures of contented cows, like straight from a carnation can. Beautiful, contented cows. And those are beautiful animals. Next to it is a picture of a dog and a woman. This female and the dog, I don't know the sex of the dog. The dog, you would think that it's going to be like as pretty as those cows, like a poodle, a golden retriever, maybe a cocker spaniel. But no, it's a pit bull. And when you see that message about dog education, you think those dogs are really something to be afraid of when you see that pit bull on that photograph of the dog education. And then you go down to what kind of image are you putting when if I own a house in Fremont and I'm not allowed to put up no parking signs on a public road, but this park district does have that privilege. And when no one in either unincorporated Alameda County or in the park district, no one is allowed to put up 8-foot-high fences without a special permit, but the park district has done so. But they're see-through. They're see-through with banners waving above, the yellow banners of the fortifications of the military-style gates, prison camp style. And then when you hear about people complaining about those cows at the entrance to Vargas Plateau and being afraid of that huge group of cows, that comes by design. When you open up a gate, when you place those cows don't just go there for no reason to harass those poor visitors. They're there for because of a very fundamental need of nature, of biology. It's called water. And you put a water trough 40 feet from the trail and 80 feet from the main entrance, at the lower entrance, 80 feet. And then people wonder why there's so many cows and why they're being attacked by the cows. Maybe if you really think about it from the visitor perspective, you might realize that putting the water at a more isolated, remote spot that's more convenient for the cows so they can drink water and chew their cud and live happy cow lives in peace, that maybe if you put the water farther from the gate, and think about possibly the root causes, the fundamental, why are the cows bothering the people?
Kelly,
Maybe
you are at
that would
time.
help.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Any additional public comments?
We do not have any more.
Thank you very much, Ruby. All right, and now it is time for board comments. Any comments, board members? Oh, wait a second. Did I skip over? Oh, no, that's right. Sorry. Jim is after that. Pardon me. I thought I skipped you for a second. Any board member comments?
Great meeting as always.
Thank you, Director Wieskamp.
Ditto.
And I'll say ditto too. All right, take it away, Jim. Your turn.
Just a couple of updates. I think, from the board meeting, staff are working on the red tier implementation, getting some of our facilities back in operation and our programs and services. I think you also heard that public safety is going to restart the volunteer trail safety patrol April 2nd, which is great news. That'll be very helpful to staff out in the parks. We're really looking forward to that. And then I have another something I think you'll find exciting. I know I find it exciting. As you might recall from the budget process that we had submitted to add a second small trails crew. And the union had contested that, asked me, local 2428 had contested that and asked for a meet and confer over that budget item. The board asked us to do that. We did do that. And we came out with, I think, is a successful compromise. And I think it's great. We're going to actually have a 6-month special assignment for our park staff. We have one park supervisor, one position. And then 3 park rangers that will be on special assignment for 6 months. We're in the process right now of selecting those staff, and I'm really looking forward to having 2 crews. So we'll still have our AWP supervisor leading our student conservation youth crew, and then we'll have this crew of trained full-time staff. And I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for them to get some training. Or extend their training, and also to get some great work done out in parks. So I just thought I'd share that with you. It's very exciting. I think all of you know how dedicated and how important the trail work is to me and to the district, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm really happy that we were able to come to that compromise. So that's my report out, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Jim. That's really great news, and especially the additional training, the cross training, sort of extending that amongst other park employees. The more the merrier for working on those trails, because we know we have a lot and we know how important they are to the public. So thank you, really great. And also one last thing I would say is I know that thanks to the rules, the regulations, and additional doses of vaccine, more and more of the employees are cleared for takeoff to get their vaccinations and are getting their vaccinations. So congratulations on that too. Really, really important to the safety and the health of our staff. So good work on that, Mr. O'Connor, as well.
Just one shout out to our new general manager. She is working to help us expand the vaccination program within the first 2 days that she was here. So we're really grateful to that. And we're hoping that can really get all of our staff vaccinated fairly quickly. I think we're getting close. So I'm really grateful for that.
That's
and
great.
Thank you for pointing it out.
That's right. Already on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, General Manager, for joining us today and being part of this committee. And we'll continue to welcome you meeting after meeting. So thank you for being here. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Yes, Director Eckel.
Leading a great meeting.
Yeah, just very, very quickly, I just wanted to say that I'm very excited to hear about the second fire crew, and I think that I'm glad you were able to work out that solution, because I think it's a fabulous opportunity for people to get that experience and also to get a supervisory experience, and so I'm very pleased that's moving forward. Thank you.
Really good. So if that's it, the meeting's adjourned. We'll see you all again soon. Nice to see you all.
Absolutely.
Stay healthy, be good. Thank you, everybody.
Keep saying rain and more rain.